Hey,
John Cannell,
man,
welcome to the penthouse.
good to see you. It's amazing.
Thank you. Are you ready to help people become stars on YouTube?
I'm ready.
All right,
Let's do it.
Hello and welcome once again to the Entrepreneur Show. I'm your host, John Spencer Ellis, and this man right here is Sean Cannell, and he is a YouTube video marketing expert. What's happening?
Pumped to be here. Pumped to be on the show in the penthouse. It's amazing.
Woo! Let's do this. Okay, so we're going to talk about Facebook video production, marketing, opportunities, what it's like to be an influencer. We're going to get to all that. But first, we got to talk about how in the heck did you get to the point where you're at now with YouTube?
Yeah, well, that goes back really to 2003. And I came back from college and my parents were going to a new church. And so I was looking for an internship opportunity. So I just volunteered in the youth group. The youth pastor handed me a video camera and Adobe Premiere, which is what I would still edit on today, years later. And he just said, hey, can you start making some weekly video announcements? And I'll tell you this, your first videos will always be your worst videos.
True.
You got to start with something. And so I started putting out weekly videos though. So that first year, 2003, this is before YouTube, before Facebook, before social media started, I was pumping out content and not good videos, but I was practicing, and 52 videos a year. So I was also learning consistency, right? And so then I started to do even more. Eventually, the lead pastor was like, hey, can you do these on the weekends? That's 104 videos a year now as a volunteer. So it really sharpened me though, because I'm getting faster at editing. Then fast forward, 2009, I started a media business called Clear Vision Media. But you know, I don't talk about this all the time, but as an entrepreneur, there was a moment, and I think this happens in a lot of people's journey, where there's kind of like an aha moment that caused me to really go into entrepreneurship. And what that was actually a couple years after marrying my wife, Sonia. She went on a trip to the Philippines and got very sick. And she actually she's dropping weight. She was throwing up multiple times a day. Doctors didn't know what was happening. They're saying like, you're anorexic, you're bulimic, what's going on? She's like, no, something's wrong with me. And it took 2 years of her being undiagnosed, and she actually almost died.
Wow.
So we eventually end up in the hospital. She's dropping all this weight. And there was she had to get a feeding tube, but you know, long story short, we spent 6 days in the hospital, 2009. I had started that media business, but now my wife's, in the hospital bed. She might be sleeping, and I'm pondering as a man, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, like, okay, I need to step up. Like, do I have what it takes to provide for my family, to really like create something? And I started to have these ideas of like, I need to have time freedom, location freedom, because what's our family going to look like? What's our future going to look like? So John, that was when, like, for me, I was like, I need to figure this entrepreneurship thing out, but specifically this online thing out, because I want to create passive income, business around a lifestyle. And it took me years more, right? So I had other endeavors and I did freelance, and it's that windy path. But eventually I got to that place of, where we are today, building first a full-time income and then 6 and then a 7-figure business and a team and all of those things. And so it's been quite the journey.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
So from the point where, I'm going to break this down. From 100,000 to 7 figures.
Yeah.
What time span?
Well, that has actually just been in the last 2.5 years. I mean, since stepping out fully as kind of a personal brand influencer entrepreneur was October 2015.
All right.
And so in about 2.5 years, and that was still, actually we were hitting 6 figures as side income and a salary when I had a job. But then we started creating our first 6 and then multiple 6 and then 7 in the last year.
So
it's been fast.
Some things are personal. I get it. You don't have to say anything you don't want to. What is the primary source of your revenue? Not the dollar amount, but the primary source.
Totally. So it's a great question, but the answer is digital products.
Okay.
So originally, the way we built a full-time income was just me as a YouTuber, and I was a tech YouTuber because I started video in 2003. So once it was around 2010, I invested in a bunch of equipment like you kind of have here. I was investing in lighting, and I'm shooting wedding videos and business videos for small businesses, all these different things in Seattle before we moved to Vegas. And so I started putting videos on YouTube, like, here's the camera I'm using, here's some tips around using it, and if you want to check it out, there's links in the description, affiliate marketing. And originally we built a full-time income and then a 6-figure profit from Amazon. So Amazon sends us checks. We do something like now 150,000 clicks on Amazon links a month.
From YouTube videos.
From YouTube videos.
Doing reviews?
So it could be reviews, how to set it up. So it could be how to. It could just be tips, how to do better lighting. It also could even just be actually tips, say about live streaming, but then you mention all the gear. So like, hey, put it, free value and information, but I'll link to what I use because, then they can take your information, but like I want to use it on the same stuff you use it on. So multiple different angles of doing affiliate marketing originally. And then, as you know, there's other affiliate marketing. So I even experimented not on my main channel doing stuff in like health and fitness and the supplement space. And sometimes those affiliate programs would be like 30% continuity. So if someone subscribes to some sort of a product,
right.
So we would create some videos that would be generating like $200, $300 a month, every month for 2 years because they rank in search. But saying all of that kind of had a lid on it. Even when we were in like the mid 6 figures, I was like, there's no way this is going to go to like 7 by doing this more. I couldn't do that much volume, etc. And plus you're getting like 4% on Amazon off of a camera you recommend. So if it's a $2,000 camera, it's $80. And
it's worth it.
If you do that at volume, it's pretty good, but still it's only 4%. As you know, you create your own products.
Right.
And now you're keeping 100%, and the cost of digital products, especially, the margins are pretty massive. So we started to turn that into digital products, and that's what scaled more. There's a few other things. YouTube ads are pretty significant now. I mean, we probably can do 6 figures, somewhere between 7, 8K a month off YouTube ads.
So pre-roll ads that air before your videos, you're getting a revenue share of that.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So that grew, affiliate marketing, but then digital products is really what.
So I have a question for you because I'm so curious about this because YouTube has become, for my companies, a bigger player. Facebook still obviously does a lot. We do a lot on Pinterest, but YouTube is growing. What is the number one key to get someone from watching your video to clicking on the link in the description, which should be the first word in the description, correct?
Yeah.
With maybe a couple spaces afterwards. Like, because you can have a screen that pops up and says, click the arrow below or click the link below, and you have an arrow or pull up a finger, or do you say, hey, below here is a description. If you want this, blah, 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 just click. Are you that clear about it? Or you know what I'm saying? Or
no,
you leave it up to them being smart enough to know that there's a link there?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So when it comes to like giving a call to action to a link on YouTube, I think one thing you have to actually embrace is that there's going to be it's not going to work for everybody. So it is a volume game. Like you can't over optimize. You have to accept that some people aren't going to figure it out and it's going to be too complex. So you get that kind of out of the way. The second thing is I actually think that some of the old school, what we've learned as internet marketers with the old buttons and the old, it was like optimized press type websites. I actually think that some of that, the consumer audiences are always getting smarter. And so I think there's a little bit of a blindness to, arrows, and they're important, but I think, it's all about authenticity and being organic, and it really always is.
And gives them something worthwhile to seek out to click.
Exactly. So I think that's kind of the thing. It's also, what are you even asking? Where do you want to send them next? If there's a high desire to go there, people are also going to find a way. But now if we were to say tactically, I would say that, yes, I would say this. I'd say, and if, at any point in this video, we'll put a list of show notes and links in the YouTube description below, so go ahead and check those out. But now you also have clickable YouTube cards, so I will use those. So like, hey, if you actually want to check out a free masterclass using a webinar to educate more and then eventually offer, future further training, we'll say, I'll give three actually call to actions. Number one, for us, we really use custom URLs because we want to be able to give verbal call to actions on Facebook Live, on YouTube, on LinkedIn
and
video.
And know where it came from.
And know where it came from, but also let people be able to type it in. So we've found URLs like Tube Masterclass, short for YouTube, learnvideo.live, tubeinfluence.com. And we'll use these different URLs to then give that verbal. So in a video, then I would say, hey, just go to tubemasterclass.com. We'll also put a link to that in the description below, or you can click the YouTube card.
So describe the YouTube card. Is that something that can be added after the fact, or does it have to be integrated in with the video production?
After the fact. clickable on mobile. So eventually YouTube went away from annotations and they started using YouTube cards. And then there's also end cards, which exist at the last 20 seconds. So there's YouTube cards and there's end cards, which are the last 20 seconds. And it's clickable on screen. So mobile can tap the screen, tap the upper right-hand corner. But I like to give people options. So I think having, I never rely on just that, or I would never rely on them finding the description. So I also like the verbal option. If I can have a clean URL that leads to what we're doing, we just grab one, fulltimeinfluencer.com. So we're about to do, and that's all that is for, is it's actually just a redirect. But all that's for is clear, also sort of the promise of what you're getting. Like if you want to be a full-time influencer, you know, like that's insinuated in the URL itself. And
that's smart.
And it's also, you're able to do that on Facebook Live as well. Like, hey, go to, and give that verbal call to action.
Okay. I tend to watch YouTube videos on a desktop. What percentage of viewers as of right now is mobile?
It's 50-50, a little bit more towards mobile. Smart TV is going up. It's a pretty big deal. Like more people, tablets a little bit, but people are a more lean back experience on YouTube. It's integrated into a lot of smart TVs. All the Android boxes, Fire TV, Roku boxes, all usually have the YouTube app. So there is more of that, but a lot of desktop still. I think that's important to know. And it would depend on the niche and the age and demographics. For some, it'd be younger.
I'm going to give you, and we're going to close out this segment here with this speed round of questions. I'm going to say different types of video format, and you're going to tell me your best guess without any more information.
Okay.
The proper length of the video.
Here we go.
Okay. Simple product explanation. The product's $50 or under. How long is the video?
You're trying to sell the product at the end of the video?
Yeah.
$50 or less. I actually think 7 minutes.
Okay. And you guys, by the way, the reason it matters for $50 is it's an easier decision. There's probably fewer moving parts. There's fewer objections, and that's why it could probably be shorter.
Yeah, and actually a good example to look at is the Harmon brothers. Sorry to hijack your segment.
That's right. Go for it, man. Go for it.
They did a really famous campaign about the Squatty Potty.
Yeah.
With the pooping unicorn.
Yeah.
But the way they structure their ads, and they recently were working with ClickFunnels, is a lot of times too, what they would think is that if you had 7 minutes, you would pitch it, you might sell in the first minute or two, and then you just go back into more content, kind of infomercial style. And then, so even I would say it could be shorter, but I would just think that you could kind of educate, pitch, and then give a call to action, and then actually keep going. Like not let the video end, and then continue to educate, continue to add more value and whatever else, and then another call to action.
Okay, so I love it. And that Squatty Potty, and they've made hundreds of millions of dollars?
Yeah, they made a lot of money on that one.
Who doesn't love a pooping unicorn?
Exactly.
Rainbow, no less.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so now I'm gonna give you this example. I want to do a video that gives me information about a product or service, but I just want to get them to go back to actually watch a webinar. How long is that video?
So the way we do it is 5 to 10 minutes. And we're still trying to add concise, relevant value in that video. And I know you teach this as well, and it's kind of, it should be common knowledge and common practice, but it really isn't, is that I think that, you want to add so much value up front. So just here's an example. Here's our funnel. Is a YouTube video that would teach on 3 ways to get more views on YouTube, or 5 ways to make money on YouTube. And it's really good content. And it might, by the way, it actually might be 8 minutes. It might be 14. It might be 16. Because I think this is important to consider. You really don't want to worry too much about the masses. I think too many people are placating their content and their behaviors on trying to hit mass vanity metrics, as opposed to you're only talking to the people that really watch to the end. And the chance of spending time adding value, so longer form content earlier in the sales funnel, if you will, I actually think is an advantage and something a little bit different. So I might go 15 minutes, and it's not until the end of that video that then I'm like, and hey, if you really love this training, I have a free 1-hour masterclass. They've already watched 15 minutes. So again, our fear is like, man, people are too busy. They're not gonna consume stuff. They're not gonna watch stuff.
As long as it's good.
Yeah, and as long as they care. Because their desire is high if they want to learn YouTube, or if they want to learn entrepreneurship, or if they want to get their dog to stop, peeing in the house. If they're trying to get answers, then they'll consume that content. And someone who's like, this is too long, well, you were never going to reach that person anyways, potentially. You know, the author of Influence, Robert Cialdini wrote Persuasion.
Yep.
And I think that's an important book that entrepreneurs should read.
100%.
And I think it's that persuasion thinking on YouTube. I think on YouTube, you have that chance to spend a lot of time with people. And I want to take this to this analogy because I think it'll add a lot of value. I think that for a lot of entrepreneurs in social media, sales, it should be treated like dating and relationships. And I was telling you a story about my wife. I first met her at Starbucks. And I went in, and that's when I really got addicted to coffee too, right? Because I went in multiple times a day. But how do you think it would have went if the first time I walked in, saw her, I'm like, man, she's good looking. And I walked up, ordered my coffee, and I saw she was kind of leaning in to do the cash register. How do you think it would have went if I was like, you know what? I leaned over the counter, kissed her on the lips, and said, will you marry me? The day we met, how do you think that would have went?
Probably not well.
Probably not well. I mean, it could have went bad, or it could have like went horrible, like lawsuit, like sexual harassment. But eventually she said yes to marrying me, right? Well, why? Because a lot of things happened in between and there was time in between. I think that's a good analogy for thinking about video content and building relationships online. YouTube is a chance to go on multiple dates with people, potentially a 15-minute date, conversation, getting to know people. But even beyond that, this is a big difference. We don't even give call to actions in every video away from YouTube. And some people are sending too much traffic away from YouTube. It hurts your reach. So we like to think about, Salesforce put out an article. It takes 6 to 8 touch points, and it's probably more by now because the article is a few years old. It takes 6 to 8 touch points to generate a viable sales lead. When someone's finally willing to say, yes, I'll give you my email. I'll watch your webinar. I'll download your PDF. 6 to 8 touch points. So that makes me think a lot of people are going to watch 6 to 8 YouTube videos. Each one, it's like, I remember that one time we went to that one restaurant. Oh, that's right. We also got coffee together. Oh, we went jogging together one day. That's building rapport, it's building trust. And then when you ask for the email, that's getting engaged. That's not even marriage. That's like, okay, I'm willing to like take this to the next level, and we're on a journey to potentially getting married. The sale is marriage. And so I like to think people need to slow down in that journey and realize there's the kind of dating, there's engagement, and there's marriage. And that some of those interactions, when you want to attract the right person. Again, if it's not about all the fish in the sea, it's about that one woman that you want. So if they're like, well, you're talking too long, well then I talk a lot, so we probably shouldn't get married. You're self-filtering out your audience as people go to longer lengths of time, if that makes sense.
Speaking of talking, I just got a high sign from our director. We're gonna have to take our first break. But when we get back, we're gonna go into the next segment. And Sean's going to teach you some strategies for making your YouTube channel more attractive and more functional so you can get more followers and more views and monetize your entire YouTube segment of your business. We'll be right back. Hi, my name is John Spencer Ellis, and I want to help you reach all of your personal, professional, physical, and financial goals. You have greatness within you, and sometimes you just need a coach, a trainer, and a mentor to help you realize your full potential. Since the age of 12, I have immersed myself in the study and practice of maximizing human potential, physically, mentally, personally, professionally, and financially. I believe you and I have so much to offer, to experience, and to give to the world. It's time for you to step into your brilliance and shine like you're supposed to right now. I invite you to learn how I can help you reach your goals and dreams. Thanks for your time. Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Show. My guest today is Sean Cannell, a YouTube expert. And in this segment, we're going to talk about how to make your YouTube channel more appealing so more people will subscribe to your channel. One thing that I've done is make unification of the branding, the images and the background colors, and you can change the layout. And I'm still experimenting. I don't know what's optimal. I'm just kind of seeing how it all plays out. What's the easiest, fastest thing for people to do?
Well, I think if it comes to, building a strong brand on YouTube, would probably start before YouTube of building a strong brand, or knowing, if you have a color palette, or knowing your look, and you had that all together, so you could transfer that over. So I think that there's only a few spots. The next thing would be to identify is what are your options that you have on YouTube. It's actually not a lot. You have your avatar, the picture of either your face or your business logo, and then you have that cover image. And that cover image is going to be optimized to be on mobile. It'll also go actually quite tall for smart TV. And so there's some formatting you can download online. And then beyond that, this would be the most important thing, is the videos themselves. Mm-hmm. I think the loudest message on your YouTube channel is the videos. And that'd be two things: the images, the thumbnails, and then the actual content. If someone lands on your channel, you want them to know, this is for me or not. Is this for me is the question they're asking. Like, is this relevant? And so if they can see those thumbnails and see, okay, it's about entrepreneurship, and then it's about marketing, and then it's about business, and they're like, oh, this is for me. But one of the biggest mistakes you can make is if they're like, okay, they had like a cooking show guest, and then they're vlogging their trip. And if there's confusion, then you're done. We like to talk about, this is probably true anywhere online, but you have about 5 seconds for people to make that judgment about, like, who are you? But and why does it matter to me? Like, and what are you standing for? What are you teaching? What are you saying? What value are you adding? And do I care? And if it's confusion or if it's unclear, then you're dead. So you want to clarify that to have that strong brand.
And as you're saying this, I'm realizing things I need to fix on my own YouTube channel, and I actually started a new channel just for this show as an example. Aside from my other one, then I have a separate channel just for my fitness and coaching education company, because I don't want brand confusion. And what happened before, there's too many things happening, and I'm just thinking about my own issues here.
Yeah,
like that's real. And people say, well, what's going on here? So I had to segment it and organize it, color correct it, and do all those different things.
Yeah, and I would say this too. This is probably a big challenge. It's not something that we've mastered. It's probably something that's taken us years and thousands of videos we've uploaded online to learn this. Is that you want to really think about the journey and the psychology of a subscriber. And here's what I mean. If I meet you because you get a viral video of a protein shake, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, dude, like, that was such a good protein shake. And I watched the video, and that video is generating all kinds of new subscribers. Well, you have to always think, why did they click subscribe in the first place? Mm-hmm. Then you have to ask yourself, how far are you going to deviate from that after the fact? Because the next behavior of that subscriber is going through their subscription feed, and then they're like, well, you're interviewing a YouTube guy. Where's the protein shake? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's really, how did the relationship start? And this isn't to say you can't have a variety channel. People can pull it off. And it's not to say that you can't cover multiple different topics, but you do need a cohesive theme. And you really want to be thinking, you want to put yourselves in the shoes of that subscriber to think, what was the assumptions and the conclusions they were drawing about what value they were going to receive from you at first. And this is why you can see some big channels with lots of subscribers, but potentially low views, because they met you because you were talking about one thing, but you haven't talked about that in a long time since then.
Are you able to send notifications to people who are only interested in certain type of topics within your channel?
You are not. And right now, just a couple practical things. Even your subscribers, paid ads is a good thing for entrepreneurs. Okay. If you already have some existing subscribers, but you can only do paid ads to people who've subscribed in the last 6 months. So sometimes as channels age, they get a lot of different subscribers. YouTube sends notifications on their own, but a power tip for what the action you can take is the ring the bell. That's what they call it now. Now you can turn on notifications just like on Facebook. And so a lot of people are saying, hey, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, which is probably not enough information for most of us as entrepreneurs. You maybe need to walk people through it. And if you want to make sure you never miss a video, click the bell icon to turn on notifications. And that is a way, as everything gets more crowded. And even YouTube's like, geez, people are subscribed to so many channels. That's now the next layer to make sure that super fans don't miss anything. And you want to educate your fans so that they don't miss anything.
So I know consistency matters a lot. So and right now, in full transparency to the viewing audience, the strategy right now is to release a new episode of the Entrepreneur Show about every 10 to 14 days. How often is too often? How infrequent is too infrequent?
So I think that's a great question. How often should you post on YouTube? It depends on the niche. It could also depend on how hard the content is to create. So there's so many variables. Okay. But here's what I would say as a baseline. I think once a week. I think that once a week it's your weekly show. And it doesn't have to be a show, although this is the Entrepreneur Show, but it just means you're showing up consistently once a week, just like The Flash or The Walking Dead or whatever show. People can kind of rally and be like, I can hear from you every week. Now, some data was released recently that actually 2 to 3 times a week is kind of a sweet spot. And, more can be.
And okay, so let's just say it's 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
What's the duration of those videos?
That same article, which is a massive study of a lot of channels done by Little Monster, an agency, it discovered that 7 to 16 minute long videos were sort of the best optimized time. But here's the quote to kind of funnel your content through. Your videos should be as long as they need to be, but as short as possible.
So 7 to 16, 7 to 15. Are those content edutainment, or is it a pitch sales training?
That was across all types of channels. So that included vlogs, that included comedy and humor, that includes the entrepreneur channels, etc. But I want to encourage entrepreneurs that if you stand in front of a whiteboard and you want to break down a framework and do some training, and that's going to take you 40 minutes to get through the content, go for it. Because the video should be as long as it needs to be, but as short as possible. You're not trying to win the attention of teenagers that are watching popular vloggers. You're trying to talk to a specific type of end user and get them value. And I mean, you're probably like me. I love training and leadership and personal growth and leveling up my learning. So I'll watch long webinars. I'm the good target audience for that entrepreneur channel. If someone's like, oh, it's too short, well, they're never going to be your customer. Or they're not your ideal audience in the first place. So I think it's okay to go longer content for sure.
Okay, good info. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to learn about how you can become a YouTube star.
Yes.
Woo! Stay with us. Hi, my name is John Spencer Ellis, and I want to help you reach all of your personal, professional, physical, and financial goals. You have greatness within you, and sometimes you just need a coach, a trainer, and a mentor to help you realize your full potential. Since the age of 12, I have immersed myself in the study and practice of maximizing human potential, physically, mentally, personally, professionally, and financially. I believe you and I have so much to offer, to experience, and to give to the world. It's time for you to step into your brilliance and shine like you're supposed to right now. I invite you to learn how I can help you reach your goals and dreams. Thanks for your time. Welcome back to this third and final segment for the Entrepreneur Show. My guest today is Sean Cannell. He is a YouTube expert. And right now we're going to find out how you can become a YouTube star. I just learned from a past guest that a bunch of first graders were surveyed and they were asked what they want to do. And it wasn't the traditional or obligatory, I want to be a nurse, a doctor, a firefighter, a cop, or whatever. They want to be a YouTube star. Blew my mind. I mean, it's just fascinating. Or like a social media influencer. What on YouTube specifically? First of all, what does that mean? What does it mean to be a YouTube star? What quantifies or qualifies you as that?
Yeah, I think that would be niche dependent, right? Because, for instance, on my team, Heather is our operations officer, but she also runs a homeschool channel. It's got around 10,000 subscribers right now. She's one of the biggest homeschool YouTubers.
Wow.
Why? Because it's not as large of a niche as somebody with 10 million subscribers or 20 million subscribers because they're comedy. So I think you should, and I think that's what's cool about YouTube. I think that small is the new big. I would rather say be a big fish in a small pond than maybe try to go off stardom. And maybe one of the biggest mistakes would be to be trying to become a celebrity. I think the goal would be to be trying to become a person of value for a particular group of people.
And then the celebrity will come as a result.
And then the celebrity comes as a result.
Okay. All right. So what I want to know is who's making the most money on YouTube?
So that's a great question. And there has been some articles about how PewDiePie, as the most subscribed YouTuber, was like the highest paid YouTuber. But even to this day, even though he still has the most subscribers, he doesn't get the most views. So just because people come and go, but views is where a lot of people, right now it's Fortnite players, Ninja, people playing Fortnite, they're getting 3 to 5 million views a video. That could be anywhere from 5 to 10 to maybe 15 or 20,000 a video. when you're getting that kind of
So
views.
you're talking about shared ad revenue.
Just ad revenue. But the people who make the most money on YouTube, you probably wouldn't know it. So the Paul brothers got a lot of views, but for merch, I've heard numbers like $1 million a month in merch.
So what kind of merchandise are they selling?
Hoodies, yoga pants, shirts, hats. They've maximized merch. Both of them independently, Logan Paul and Jake
So are
Paul.
they doing on Amazon or Shopify from YouTube? Do you know?
I believe they're doing it all themselves. So it's Shopify.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Who is the youngest YouTube star and why? I know there's some kid that does unboxing and does really well.
Ryan's Toys Reviews is one of the biggest channels, and that would probably be people his age.
I'm guessing it's a lot of free toys.
A lot of free toys.
It's so ridiculous.
Unlimited.
Okay. What about, we're here in Las Vegas. We could do a Las Vegas YouTube channel, although that's niche. Las Vegas is iconic, so that could work. Does it work just in your country of origin? I know obviously the web and YouTube level everything. The world is one. I get it. But I'm guessing, aside from the language barrier, someone who's in Canada and is Canadian based is probably going to do better in Canada than the United States in general. Am I off there?
I think that the question that entrepreneurs need to be answered is two things. Number one, if you're on YouTube and you want to succeed, you need to know who is your target audience. And then number two, you need to know what is your value proposition. So here's the thing. If you're living in Australia, but your target audience is like American businessmen, then you just are delivering content that way and you could be the biggest. So I think it actually starts kind of with the end in mind. Now, some people grow the other way where they just all of a sudden, for some reason, they resonate with people in the Philippines. They didn't know that was going to happen. But I think that typically you want to reverse engineer everything and start with who is it that you actually want to reach? And it doesn't matter where you live, so long as you're adding value to that group of people.
Okay. What's the one thing someone can do, aside from adding value, to become a YouTube celebrity that most people, if you look at someone's channel and you think, gosh, if they would just do this, they could make it. What is that one thing that's often missing?
Well, I think it is value, but maybe, we're in kind of how-to and education right here. This is what value could be. It's either going to be informational. That could be a news channel. Like you're giving me news. It could be educational. It's kind of what we're doing. We're adding tips. It could be motivational. We've seen that, just inspiration, motivation, inspiration. It also could just be entertainment. So when you have those vlog channels, that could be humor, laughing. And that is all of us. The only reason we're turning on The Office and laughing at Jim, Michael Scott, and Dwight or whatever, right? The only reason we're turning on CSI is because it is adding value to us. It's an escape. It's whatever. We should define some of these things. Are we helping audiences escape and decompress after work? Are we helping the people on the other side of the camera learn something? Are we causing them to laugh? It's always going to be an exchange. Are we educating them? One of my favorite YouTubers, and where I actually get my news, is a guy named Phil DeFranco. And he's built his news show. He gets a lot of times more page views, more views than CNN, period.
Wow.
And he's like a self-made. That's what YouTube is so exciting. We're living in an era where from wherever you can build your influence, your income, and make a huge impact. No matter who you are, the playing field has been leveled. But again, his stuff is good. And I feel, his name's Phil. At the end of his show, he goes, now you've been filled in. But I feel like I'm like, I know my current information. I know, and he hits politics. He leads with the viral stories because that's what people want to see. They want to see gossip and drama. But then he hits what's happening in politics and the government. Very well crafted show. Probably a show worth studying if you want to do well on YouTube. But nevertheless, there's a value exchange there, and I keep showing up because of that value.
Very, very cool. Mind blown. I have some work to do. How can people learn about you?
Well, everything's at our website, SeanCannell.com, and that's a great place. And then on YouTube, Think Media, the word think and the word media, we like to help people with cameras. We call it the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. So if you're like, what camera should I buy? What lighting should I buy? And the cool thing is this stuff doesn't have to break the bank. Just for the small investment, you can get a big return in the production quality and really make a good statement online. And then we have a show that interviews video influencers. So we talk to YouTubers, we talk to entrepreneurs that are using video, and that's called Video Influencers, separate channel. So those are the resources.
Well done. All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You've just watched The Entrepreneur Show. I hope it was enlightening and educational and fun for you. It always is for us. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Hi, my name is John Spencer Ellis, and I want to help you reach all of your personal, professional, physical, and financial goals. You have greatness within you, and sometimes you just need a coach, a trainer, and a mentor to help you realize your full potential. Since the age of 12, I have immersed myself in the study and practice of maximizing human potential, physically, mentally, personally, professionally, and financially. I believe you and I have so much to offer, to experience, and to give to the world. It's time for you to step into your brilliance and shine like you're supposed to right now. I invite you to learn how I can help you reach your goals and dreams. Thanks for your time.